Okay, very, very good afternoon. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Patrick Ong. I actually am from Code 7 Tech Sdn Bhd. The main is Malaysia. The security platform. We are the one who actually starting the so-called putting in all the security service into the IoT. Okay, so actually, we are very, very thanks to so-called this Malaysia first SME e-fair. Has been something very unique. Is happening right now. Everything is turned online. So also thanks to the joint organizer MCM, Max Capital Management, Money Merrill, and also SME Malaysia. So today the topic for this afternoon is the security and the safety preventive measure in the so-called globalized world. So with me this afternoon, we have a very special afternoon that we have two very so-called two giants in the security industry. So of course, none other than so-called our Tuan Shah, okay. So and also we have our Iron Lady, Tuan Saliza. Okay, so bear with me, give me a few minutes to give them a very brief introduction of this gentleman and this so-called ladies and gentlemen. All right. So the ladies will be the one of the very popular ladies that in the security industry is more than many years. His own multiple company from the training, so from the operation on the security services, and she also involved a lot in the NGO. So let me maybe we just let Tuan Saliza take over from here, just to introduce so-called your background to everyone, our audience here. So I think a lot of people is actually eager to hear from you. So you are only giving about 5 minutes to introduce. I don't know whether it's enough for you to introduce your so-called your portfolio is very okay, very impactful. Okay, so back to you, Puan Saliza.
All right, thank you, Dato Patrick. I know you're trying to mock me there, but it's good to see you. Thank you for having me, and hello to Tuan Shah, the co-speaker and panel for today's session. So first and foremost, thank you so much to the organizer for inviting me to be part of this panel session. I'm here in my capacity as the Vice President of the Malaysia Security Industry Association, or better known as PIKM, which is an association that has been around for about 40 years, that it unites all these owners and the security services companies in Malaysia. Okay, but on a personal capacity, I'm the owner of a security company called Berani Guard Sdn Bhd, under our group companies BG Capital Holdings Sdn Bhd. So under the group companies, I also own a training company. We also do risk management. We also do security technologies and surveillance, because by background, my background is actually electrical engineering. So to integrate trained security personnel with security technologies is something that we have always been passionate in doing. Okay, on top of that, as you mentioned, I'm very active in my NGO. In fact, one of the supporting partner of this e-SME Fair, NAWAM, which stands for the National Association of Women Entrepreneurs of Malaysia, I'm also currently serving as the Deputy President of that association. So it's good to be part of the session. So I hope to be able to share with everyone my perspective as an entrepreneur with almost 20 years background, especially in the industry of security services in Malaysia. Over to you, Dato.
Okay, thank you, Puan Saliza. I think you later on maybe you can share with us maybe just on your personal biodata. I think a lot of people want to know you more about you in person. Okay, a very beautiful lady, as is very knowledgeable in terms of in the security. So okay, always behind the lady that you will be the man, right? So we have the Tuan Shah. We call it Tuan Shah. Okay, Tuan Shah is actually representing APSA. APSA is the Asia Pacific Security Association. So Tuan Shah itself also in the operation also in many years in the security industry. I personally visited Tuan Shah office over in Ipoh. His HQ is in Ipoh. So visited the office, so I understand more about his business and also how actually he involved into this so-called international participate all these international level on all these security forums, talks and seminar. And he also just last year that Malaysia they have been organized the first called the Security Industry Excellence Award, MSIEA. So we have many VIP attended the so-called the award dinners, okay, over in KL. So why not we also hear from Tuan Shah, so the man, okay, we have Iron Lady, we have a Wonder Woman, then let's hear from the Superman in security. So Tuan Shah, over to you.
Thank you, Dato Patrick. Very good evening to you, Dato Patrick, and Tuan Saliza. Good evening. First of all, I would like to congratulate for this first SME e-fair. And I think this is an eye-opener for many of locals in Malaysia that, the fair can be conducted online, with virtual booth and also seminar and forum and talk show. So with that, I congratulate you on your success. On a personal note, my name is Shah Jahan, as Dato has introduced. I am also an entrepreneur in the security industry. So I come from a background of computer science myself, and I ventured into the security business by inheritance. This is a family business, as well as I know Tuan Saliza as well has also come along that line. But a more serious note is we've been in industry for almost 20 years, and we've seen the different trends up and down. And today I'm here in the capacity of the Deputy President of APSA, which is the Asia Pacific Security Association. This association was established in 1994 in Bangkok. And today we have about 14 countries which is affiliated to this organization, which is the APSA International. The countries are mainly Thailand, India, Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, China, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Vietnam, Japan, Macau, Nepal, and most recent inclusion is Sri Lanka. Basically, this association is being represented or even established in the very beginning by entrepreneurs from the security industry. Just for the knowledge of our listeners out there, each country, we establish our own chapters. We operate independently, but we are affiliated to the national, international body. And so by having different countries, which are the chapter member countries, we have this common platform whereby we can share our best practices and exchange ideas, and then we have annual forums, annual conferences that we attend, and that's where the exchange of ideas comes from. So I think probably I just hand it over back to Dato for us to share off the forum. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tuan Shah, once again, also Tuan Saliza. So, okay, let me just spare with me also about the so-called the topic for today. So mainly we want to actually introduce that the topic for today is mainly that we find out that security is also play a very important role, especially in SME, not itself for SME, for any businesses or for any so-called environmental things, that security is also part of the so-called the very important key. But we come into security, people automatically will just relate into the security guard and so on. But when we in this industry that we are many things is causing us so-called conflict, impacting all this life in Malaysia across the so-called in terms of business, in terms of neighborhood, in terms of so-called marine, or even though in what kind of aspect. So the one thing is like currently we are facing a lot of challenges, also as so-called the cyber crime that people also like in the so-called social medias that also people follow, that also a lot of those scam going on around in all these cyber, and also like terrorism, and also some environmental disaster. So this is all actually it's a main issue, is causing a lot of problem to us. So the purpose of today is that we are towards the new era. People is talking about the industry 4.0. People is talking about the smart cities. So people is talking about the IoT, and people talking about 5G and so on. So you see nowadays, for example, if let's say we want to doing the one of the security system, those days will might cost you about few hundred million for one so-called the program. And now you can buy a smartphone, okay, over like 3,000, 4,000 smartphone. You have all the features in the one phone itself, right? So, and of course, today we are going to share a bit to let everybody know more about so-called the modern world of the security throughout the so-called the IoT. So we have actually prepared a few questions today to actually question to throw to PIKM. Okay, PIKM, for information, PIKM is stand for Persatuan Industri Kawalan Persatuan Industri Kawalan Keselamatan Malaysia. Okay, it's mainly all the security company. So I believe it's more than 850 license. Okay, the owner of this operator in Malaysia. So for information, all these business owner, they must be actually have the background or the enforcement background. For instance, maybe they have the police background, or they have the military background. This is all these person who can know about the security measure over into the nation. So the first question that I would like to ask Saliza is about what are the aspects that SMEs should understand and take action to ensure the safety of their business, okay, in this so-called modern or the globalized world. So let me hear from Saliza.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Dato. Okay. To address this question, I'm going to answer from the perspective of an SME in general. Okay. Because no doubt that, you know, after this pandemic of COVID, a lot of companies and businesses have ventured and pivot their business into digital, into e-commerce, in which cybersecurity, information security will become very pertinent in ensuring that the data are well kept and being processed in order, especially the customers' data, suppliers' data, and all that. But I think whatever it is, it boils back to for having the business in the first place. Okay, because let's not talk about digitalization, automation if a business owner can't really understand what being an entrepreneur is all about. Okay, there are sets of responsibilities that businesses need to have, especially the business owners, okay, towards the stakeholders. If we look at the chart, there's so many stakeholders that business owners need to take care of. You know, you're talking about customers, you're talking about suppliers, you're talking about government, society, community, and all that. And when it comes to the security services company, these are all the stakeholders that business owners must be able to take into consideration whenever they make any decision at the company's level. Okay, so this is going to be very basic. I'm going to address it because if business owners, regardless, as I mentioned, whether they are in the security, whether they are in the F&B business, whether they are in the manufacturing company and whatnot, if they don't understand their responsibilities, then the business is not going to be sustainable and it's not going to be able to ensure the safety of their business when they are ready to go beyond just where the country that they are. So basically, I'm gonna, for the sake of time, today I'm just gonna touch about these three main stakeholders. Okay, we're talking about employees, customers, and society. Okay, I'm gonna give use an example of how like my company, although I run a security services company, and most of the time people tend to think that as a security services company, the main focus should only be on guarding services. But I beg to differ, because I think if you're talking about moving forward, about expanding and become sustainable for like 10, 20 years down the line, a lot of these factors you need to consider. For example, as a security services provider, as we know, we are now in the midst of still, I believe, in the COVID-19 pandemic. We must be able to make sure that we have proper policies, we have a proper remuneration system, we should be able to have proper equipment, especially in the company, so that all of our employees will be able to work in a safe environment. I'm going to take an example, like during the first week of MCO, it becomes mandatory for all the security services providers to provide PPE, sufficient PPE to all of our employees because of the outbreak. So we needed to invest a lot in terms of providing them with the face mask, with the hand sanitizers, and with a lot of other things like gloves and all that. So that is the responsibility of a business owner, okay, in the security services industry. It's not just about worrying about what's going to happen to your company, but it's also about taking care of your employees, especially the security personnel. Because one of the most important thing about this industry is that although the security services industry falls under the essential services, so technically when you mention essential services, it's supposed to be business as usual, okay? But that's not what is actually happening right now, because most of our clients, especially members of the association, most of the clients, they belong in the non-essential services sector. So what happened during the MCO is that they had to shut down their business, they had to reduce their operating costs. So unfortunately, somehow most of them decided that they had to cut costs by reducing the number of manpower in terms of their security personnel which are being deployed to their premises. So indirectly we got affected. So how business owners in the industry is able to take care of it is very important. And of course, in terms of the customers, regardless of the situation that we are facing, we should be able to provide, quality products and services to our customers. Customers will be very happy, and we can't be using excuses like cash flow and all that to give poor services to our customers, because at the end of the day, business owners, we are still accountable for the safety of our customers. And then the last stakeholders point that I want to mention is about the society. This is with regards to the recent incident that happened in Beirut. Okay, we know that whatever is happening at the port, there is an element of profit making. Okay, but unfortunately, when business owners, especially the SME, don't put into consideration safety of the employees, of the people surrounding, that's what's going to happen, an explosion, and a lot of people died over that incident. So if business owner truly understand their roles and responsibilities, okay, this is a basic understanding about SME and how they can remain sustainable, I believe that all SME naturally would be able to come up with a business model that would be able to ensure the safety of their businesses globally. So over to you, Dato. So that's my view with regards to life.
Okay, thank you, Tuan Saliza. So as we know that we hear a lot from Tuan, especially when we ourselves also running business, we also fall into the SME industry. So security. So that's why you see some of the developer, they also spend a lot of money to actually apply for those like police bantuan and so on, is to actually to bring up the so-called the security level into their property area. So we are here is like the SME should actually come up to more to fight against all these things that we have to work hand in hand, okay? So because we need to work as long as we have a cooperative, so people understand that actually when people on the ground, like the security is under the essential. So we are also part of the so-called the frontliner. So during this pandemic time, so security people are still running 24 hours. They still need to look after so-called the premises or the asset of the individuals. So I hope people out there they should be understand more of the life of the security and guard, especially when people do it on ground. So hopefully with this forum that we can improve more and more, right? So can we jump into the question for Tuan Shah here? So the question to Tuan Shah is actually majority owners of SME have transformed into the digital technology. Nowadays, you can see people moving into the so-called online delivery, or people doing home-based business. So in your opinion, what are the so-called preparation must SME have to do in order to improve their customer experience? Okay, how they actually reach out more people and increase the website functionality and the security. So over to you, Tuan Shah.
Thank you, Dato. Of course, now when we talk about digital technology, everybody seems to be wanting to jump into the bandwagon. This is the way forward. Undoubtedly, it's when we talk about digital marketing, then we have social media. You know, we have all the kinds of platforms that tools that are out there. The thing is, we need to understand that when we are using digital technology or social media for our marketing and for our business, we need to create the functionality that we need to create in order to approach people. For instance, it is what we are doing now in this very forum. You have an e-forum, you have an e-fair. At the same time, you're providing a channel whereby the masses of people out there are able to see what's going on. They're able to log in. They're able to hear live conferences. So these are the preparation that we should have. As you mentioned, even homemakers nowadays, not only businesses, you know, they are having an opportunity to even come into this e-platform by showcasing their talent or their skills online, whereby people can access, people can see. So these are the tools which whoever wants to be in this digital technology have to be savvy with. They have to learn, they have to know the tools out there in order to reach people. And when we have the website, the functionality that we can give for user experience is what are they able to do, you know, in a web according to their business. If you're running an perhaps an educational website or school, then perhaps you should have a library for people to access. Inside searches, search engine, videos, so things like that. So when we like to focus on the security part of this. Many people, of course, when they come to transform their business into digital technology, online businesses, then you are susceptible to another kind of risk, another kind of threat, which you may have not encountered before. So this new kind of threat may need new kind of tools to protect you. When you're in the digital world, you have the Internet of Things, IoT. Everything is connected from your phone to your laptops to your computers and everything. So what are the things that you have in place in order to protect you so that you don't get cyber attack from using these tools and going into business using digital technology. So this is an area which I think entrepreneurs need to prepare themselves. There are many tools out there. In fact, today it depends really on the nature of the business they are in and what are the tools that most likely will suit them. Of course, when we talk about web security, we talk about hackers, cyber threats. We are trying to keep all this away from us. So, you need to update your softwares, your passwords. You need to have a secure site, a good website. You need to back up your data, and you need to do proper scanning of vulnerability within the system that they are using. So I'm no expert in cyber security field. These are feedbacks or that I get from my members, the people that I work with. Most importantly is when you understand what you need and you're able to protect. That is the essential of it. And of course, having said all this, we should, every business should actually consult with an expert, a security expert, a cyber security expert, to actually secure, your business so that your business will not be exposed. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Tuan Shah. Also, another question to Tuan also. So, how can actually SME target their audience to maximize their businesses and grow value at the same time, concerned about the safety and the preventive measure of their business? Tuan?
Okay, thank you, Dato. I'm gonna expand on some of the points that Tuan Shah has mentioned, which is with regards to cyber security. I just want to add on about information security as well. As you know, everyone is now online. We are using Zoom, we are using Microsoft Teams and all that. We are sharing a lot of information, private and confidential information about our businesses online. Okay. At one point, there was a breach of safety issue on Zoom, kind of like with regards to bank accounts and all that. So all that must be taken into consideration whenever an SME wants to kind of like expand their business into e-commerce. It's not just about, okay, everyone is selling online, everyone is having meetings online, and then you just follow what other people are doing, but you don't know the risk behind using all these new technologies. So yes, I do agree, like what Tuan Shah said, is that businesses who wanna venture into this area, okay, they first need to appoint, experts who can advise them in terms of data protection, in terms of information security before they can actually do that. Other than that, I think how a brick and mortar kind of businesses or SME can pivot their business during this crisis is that actually just by looking at the existing customers that they have within their company at the moment, because the most important thing about the ability to maintain customers who are going to be with you for like 10 or 20 years down the line is a matter of building good relationship with your customers. Through bad or good times, you need to maintain good relationship with them, so understand their needs, understand their problems, and then you come on board as not just as a security services provider who are currently providing conventional physical guarding services, but you come on board as a partner who are able to advise them on the topic of information security, in terms of cyber security, in terms of solutions that would be beneficial for them. Otherwise, customer would only look at security as a cost factor, that they have to reduce manpower to reduce costs. Instead, SME, especially in the security services company, should be able to look at this as an opportunity whereby they can approach all their existing customers and provide them with solid solutions so that your company, your business will become indispensable to them. Okay, they will keep you and they want to continue working with you for a long run. So that's a very easy approach in terms of increasing the revenue or increasing the value of your business during this crisis. Okay, and another thing is look at the market trend, look at the market demand, and look at the opportunities that are available out there. Do not work in silo. Do not kind of like confine yourself that, I'll be doing this business, brick and mortar and F&B, and that's the only thing that I know how to do. For example, if you're in the F&B business, okay, do a lot of reading, do a lot of benchmarking, see what other people in other countries are doing and try to emulate best practices and bring it on board in your business. I just want to give some example of two projects which I think is quite significant in Malaysia. One of it is actually Dato Patrick's own pet project on Code 7, whereby Code 7 is providing a mobile or basically a security on demand kind of services. And what it does, it pulls together all the conventional physical guarding services to be on that platform, and together we work to provide on-demand security services to all the residents, to all the retail owners, and to all the manufacturing factories owners in Malaysia, just by having that platform. So all SMEs in Malaysia should try to optimize and maximize their potential by working together with partners who share the same passion, okay? And that is one of the easiest way to move forward. And another technology that I just want to mention is just an example about understanding what is happening in the current situation, what is needed. There's a product by the name of Itoven ventilators. When COVID was really at its peak, ventilators, the prices of ventilators become so expensive. There's a scarcity of supply. So what happened to this company called Saura Industries, the owner is Ganesh, he actually came out with Itoven ventilators at a very affordable cost to make. So he became creative and invented something out of what the society or the country needs at that point of time. So that is another way of how SME can actually tap onto their potentials, really understand what is happening in the market, not to be an opportunist in a very negative way, but try to come up with a solution that is going to be beneficial for your business as well as the communities out there. So yeah, over to you, Dato.
Okay, thank you, Puan. So back to Tuan Shah again. So in your opinion, is it better to improve in the digital transformations by adding cybersecurity platform in order to make so-called an impact, to adding up more into the secure from the other resources?
Well, Dato, definitely, because definitely, because when you talk about cybersecurity, you are talking about protecting your data. The cybersecurity is basically IT security, it's information technology security. So everything about the information technology is your data. Today, people are going into digital marketing, digital technology, just because they are able to get your data, get your information compressed and able to send to as many people as possible and to as many devices as possible. So that is the main leverage that we have when we're talking about digital security. So when we are sending information across to different devices across the world, to different audiences, definitely you need to protect your data, and that is protecting your business. Today, in cybersecurity, when we talk about, I'm no expert, again, I have to stress that I'm no expert in cybersecurity, but a little bit of knowledge and how I understand it is that these are, when we talk about cybersecurity, we are addressing cyber threats. Now, cyber threats are threats that can potentially harm your business, putting your business into risk. So it is the idea, how can we minimize cyber threats in order to minimize your business risk? That if you can look at that simple analogy, then I think you can see the relevance between having cybersecurity, and having the cybersecurity platform included into any digital technology that we're doing. But the more realistic issue that we need to understand here is how effective are we protecting our businesses when we are going online? Now, there are many audits perhaps on cybersecurity technology there. There are many ways for us to look into the vulnerabilities of the system itself, and how effective and how realistic are these results. We need to really understand that, and we need to get the business owners, the corporates, the executives to come in into this understanding. What I'm trying to say here is that we may have a system in place, and for having that system in place, our digital technology, our business, we put it online. We monitor it. We get people to audit the system, whether monthly or half yearly or whatever. Is that sufficient enough? We need to understand, because sometimes we may have an audit system to look into the vulnerabilities of the system that is in place, but does it actually achieve what it's supposed to do? Because many a times when we are doing a set of procedure or SOP that we have, we may come and visit it a year later. Now, within that time frame, many things can happen, and these are the vulnerability threats that we are trying to actually address. We may have a situation where we put let's say for example, we put a firewall, and we think that the firewall can protect our system, and that's it. Then we go on to run our businesses, which involves you have e-payment wallet, and then we have other online transactions. So what if your system are being hacked into? So when we have such businesses that we are doing, we have to make sure that whatever cyber security solution or firewall protection that we have is able to detect the very first attack of the very first attack of a cyber attack. The 0-day attack. When the virus becomes the first attack, within the system. So we need to have constant updates. We have to maintain our system with the correct expert.
Okay, thank you, Tuan Shah. So, another last question to Tuan actually is about, in terms we hear so much about the so-called the SMEs, okay, so their understanding about the importance of security. We also heard about Tuan Shah sharing about all the cybercrime and the importance of so-called in the digital security. So what in terms when we heard about all this, what do you think about the so-called on the training side? Is there any trainings or any programs that can help the owners or all these SME or the entrepreneurs of SME to enhance so-called the security factor and transform their traditional ways into this so-called digital era? What do you want?
All right, thank you, Dato. Before I answer that question, I just want to share something that we at PIKM decided to do about 2-3 years ago. As I've mentioned earlier, PIKM or what it was originally known as Security Services Association of Malaysia is an association which was set up 40 years ago. In fact, this year we are celebrating our 40th anniversary. But 2-3 years ago, we decided to change the name from being a Security Services Association to Malaysia Security Industry Association, meaning to say at the board level of the association, we can already see the importance of the security industry in Malaysia, that it is going to go beyond than just providing physical guarding services. We want to be able to provide a more comprehensive services as far as the industry is concerned, which means to integrate physical trained personnel, to integrate technologies, to integrate AI and big data, who knows, in the future. Okay, so we are basically on the right path when it comes to that, because basically there is that understanding at the board level that that is going to be the future of the industry. So coming back to your question, the same applies for the SME. Before a business owner or any businesses can venture into digital technology, first and foremost, what needs to happen is there must be a buy-in by the board members of the company. Okay, there must be a paradigm shift, a mind shift, whatever you call it. It's not just about, oh, everyone is going towards digital and I'm gonna follow what other people are doing. You need to be able to understand, the board members have to be able to understand, then only they will be able to plan a more structured business model. They will be able to allocate the necessary budget for R&D. They will be able to know what kind of professionals that they need to bring on board to help them grow their the business with regards to the digital technology. So that is definitely very important, and I think the other things that business or SME needs to take note is the importance of continuous innovation. Okay, when we talk about innovation, I'm not just referring to having something automated in your company, something new like drone surveillance or whatever. It's about incorporating something that will be able to improve the processes, improve in terms of maybe how you process your payroll, how you connect or maintain the database of thousands of your workers and things like that, because only by having innovative solutions within the company that you're able to be more effective and be more productive when it comes to the output of the business. Yeah. So benchmarking is also something that needs to be done, because you need to be comparing yourself with competitors or similar players in other countries. Don't just look within the country, within Malaysia. And if you have the board members and the management really have that kind of mindset, that is when the business or the SME would be able to be successful. So as I mentioned, brick and mortar, they are ready to go online, do it. Okay, go ahead and do it. And only when you really know the risk that you're gonna be getting yourself into, not just do it because other people are doing it. So you really need to know, and this has to be at the board level, not just at the executive or at the management level. Okay, and some of the training programs, like I said, it's not like a training that you can attend how to change mindset. This is something that needs to be embedded in the board members. But I just want to touch about some of the programs under Penjana, because under this ESME seminar, I believe during day one, there were a couple of live chats, conducted by panel speakers from Penjana. So I think for business owners who are currently in the brick and mortar kind of business model, they should look into this business loan under Penjana for automation and digitalization. I believe the loan, we're talking about a minimum of 1 million to 3 million if you are really ready to invest and go to that next level. Okay, and also I believe under Penjana they have this program called Penjana Kerjaya Perkeso, whereby the government or the Perkeso and HRDF, they are basically subsidizing okay, the training cost for newly hired employees, and the government is also giving a 6-month subsidy salary to the newly hired. So basically what the government is doing is that, yes, it wants to boost the economy, help the SMEs, and I believe if those SME who want to venture into e-commerce, they should tap on this, because you can basically hire qualified people with background to assist you in terms of the digital. At the same time, the business is able to benefit from sending your new employees to free training, and in fact getting subsidy salary for 6 months. So yeah, on that note, I just want to mention that I think in order to be successful, I think all the SME should really work harder in really trying to understand what governments are doing at the moment, and really look at the incentive and how that can benefit your business. Yeah, so over to you, Dato.
Thank you, Tuan. So I think we have a last question for Tuan Shah here. Is now we are still under the so-called the pandemic COVID-19. So how can actually SMEs can be aware of the challenges of this COVID-19 and the importance of preventing the so-called the security threats? Over to you, Tuan.
Yeah, Dato. I really won't know how to answer you on that question, because it looks simple, but when we look at this pandemic that has hit us for the past few months, and we're still suffering from it, I think we never dreamed that the extent would be such. That, you know, even the closest business, you get people who died from the pandemic, and there was so many devastation over this pandemic. Perhaps when we talk about the closest that maybe we have experienced was perhaps SARS, and SARS was nothing close to what we are facing today. We have to take us back to 100 years before, in 1920, when the Spanish flu outbreak, you know, actually happened, and that was the pandemic that really rocked the world. So, of course, having gone through what we have gone through, as human, you know, that is the biggest resilience that human is, to be able to learn from the past and to be able to move on. We've seen many new norms happening, and we've been practicing a lot of new norms when the pandemic has occurred, and even until today. We are conducting business differently. Employees are working from home, and we see the surge of online activities, especially on the business side. You know, even how people order their food have changed. You know, we used to go to the restaurant, and now even after the MCO, we feel that there are many people who actually have themselves quite comfortable with what they've been doing. You know, they are still not going to the restaurant. I've not been to the mall since March, and lifestyle have changed for us dramatically. So I guess this is how you know, it affects us, and how we are moving on from it. However, when we talk about preventing, that's the question I couldn't answer you. You know, it's such a big task to answer that question. But however, when we talk about threats is something that is a known risk. It is something that we have experienced before. It is something that has occurred and has happened, and we record of. So in that sense, we need to take precautionary measures based on the experiences that we have gone through. especially from this very onset of the pandemic until now. There are much to be learned here, and there are many new norms that we are practicing. But however, I wish to perhaps emphasize that whatever security measures that we have in place to prevent any sort of attack, it is crucial and essential that business owners, from the very top management down until the last person who keys in that data or uses that system, have to have a mind shift. As Saliza earlier said, that the board need to buy into it. I totally agree with that. So not only the board, the employees and everybody in there, they need to change their way of conducting matters. What I'm trying to point out here is that we can't be complacent when we're dealing with the digital technology. There are ways of security threats in ways that we can't even imagine. People sending us email, a click of that email will harm our business. We might let in, viruses and things like that. So employees can't be complacent, especially in dealing with passwords. Some employees are given the responsibility of holding certain passwords to do certain tasks. So you can't pass it to your friend, and so on. Access to certain areas within your organization, it is perhaps we need to relook at it, where it should be restricted, who has the access, because these are the leakages. However good your system in place, however efficient, if your employees are not in line with the company policy, then leakages may just go out from your employees. It's just simple as that. Somebody may just write a password and put it on a sticky note and write in front of the computer, and that's it. You may have a multi-million-dollar protection, but then the password is right in front of the desk. So we need to re-educate. We need to get our employees, especially if they are really into this digital technology, we've got to get everyone in to understand what's their responsibility towards the company, what's the responsibility towards themselves, and also not just the employees. Many times we see that these are these responsibilities are just given to a department to handle, and then the owners expect the department to just get everything, the message across. These need to be also the responsibility is also from the top management until your last staff that you have in the company, and the person in security. This is something that we in the security fraternity have been trying to advise to big organizations or even any organization for that matter. Security matters should be directly reported to the boss himself, the CEO. So for whatever security measures that you have in place, make sure your head of security is directly in contact with the CEO himself. Because if there's any breach within the company, the number one boss should know about it and nobody else. He should be the one calling the shots, what's next to do. And I think if we have that mindset in place, then perhaps we can minimize or manage risk at a better level. Yeah. So, thank you, Dato.
Okay, thank you again, Tuan Shah and Tuan Saliza. So I think our sharing is definitely very good based on your experience into the field. that I heard our follower or our audience, they will be benefit a lot, that we have an opportunity to hear directly from both of you. So can we now open for the questions for Q&A? So any questions that we could throw up? So we have our so-called audience here by Mr. Hakim. So there's a question here is about security. So the security have any plan to attract youth to join in this field, or maybe train them until they become professional? So this is something very interesting, and you know that the future of our country or future of our nation is, of course, we start from the youth. I think why not we have our Tuan Saliza, when she involved a lot of training, why not let's hear from Tuan Saliza about what you think about the program that maybe the PIKM, or how maybe APSA future can join as a so-called the co-organizer to make more so-called the training program, or even those event to attract more youth to be part of the security. So how to make them become professionals? So over to you, Puan.
All right. Thank you, Dato. Hello, Abid Hakim. Definitely, yes, to recruit youth, more and more youth to be in the industry is definitely in the pipeline of the association, because we do not want to continue, hopefully not to continue relying on foreign workers, or we basically want to change the mindset of people that being in the industry is basically the last resort as far as the career option is concerned, which is definitely not true, okay? That's why one of the initiatives under the association, we have been appointed as the industrial lead body, whereby we're going to come up with a list of certification programs, and we're going to be working with the Ministry of Home Affairs to come up with the programs, okay, and the certification courses, and along that line. And definitely we're looking into, like I mentioned, we changed the name of the association from being a physical guarding services into an industry association, which means we're going to go into a lot of technologies, info security, cyber security, that is going to be more attractive and will be able to provide a better future and career advancement for our security personnel. And if you really look at the salary, if you were to benchmark it with, somebody who would work as an admin assistant in an office, our security personnel is actually getting a lot more than that. So that is something that PIKM is trying to work on to make this definitely more interesting and attractive to youth. And we're definitely going to be working closely with APSA to make sure that there will be a bright future for our youth, or those people, the professionals who come on board in the security industry. So thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you very much. So because of the times, we only allow for 1 hour. So why not we just open up for the last question from the floor. So let Tuan Shah to answer this, okay? So Tuan Shah, over to you on this.
Hi, Winona. Thank you for your question. To answer you, yes. I think I can share with you that many of the people I know, the members, we have tried, or even we are using digital automation in terms of our personnel attendance to work. And also we have been in using Dato Patrick have launched this Code 7. Under the Code 7, we have application where we need personnel in demand, whereby using your app, you can actually book or schedule personnel to make routine checks to your premises, and also emergency responses. And we have the solution at hand. And I think if you visit the Code 7 booth, you can get more information from there. And apart from that, we have also friends who are also venturing into drone technologies to help safeguard premises and also to do monitoring. And I think the trend is changing. More and more of the conventional security organizations are changing towards that. We are looking into technologies, we're doing also with them. And it will be just, I think, in the future, perhaps we will see robotic security that is going to, look after your assets.
Okay, thank you everyone here. So of course, the security industry is something, industry is very unique industry and a very wonderful industry. I hope after this so-called webinar, more and more people actually aware about so-called the importance of the security. So the security measure is actually, we have to actually come back to all Malaysians. We are actually here to actually invite more and more youth, more and more young people, even for ladies or even the men, to come to actually embark into our industry. We have our nice lady, beautiful lady with us here. So if you want to actually come in first to train, look for we have all the guru here to train you. Okay, you have Shah people who are on field and also exposed internationally with APSA. So we have all these really so-called senior or so-called person to actually guide us through along the road when in the industry. I believe PIKM also have a list of a program to be prepared for everyone here. So can just do follow up or just follow the page of PIKM. And also we have the so-called the APSA. APSA is stand for APSA, APSA, and PIKM. So every week you can see a lot of updated news from this Facebook. Okay, so with this I will actually the end for today. So why not we just give Tuan Shah and Tuan Saliza just a few words. Okay, so so-called most catching word to all the people out there. So just want them to join us to this so-called beautiful platform, a beautiful world. We make Malaysia a safer place for all Malaysians. Okay, so some keywords from you, Tuan. Okay, to everyone here.
Okay, 1 minute is definitely not enough for me. So just a quick shout out. Okay, so thank you once again to the organizer. It's been wonderful to be part of this first ever East SME Fair platform. And for those who need more information about the Malaysia Security Industry Association, do visit us at booth AC015. Okay, we're going to be there until end of today, or visit our social media Facebook page at Persatuan Industri Keselamatan Malaysia, and we hope to be able to continue this engagement with everyone out there. So thank you so much, and thank you so much, Dato and Tuan Shah.
Okay, over to Tuan Shah. I give her 10 seconds. He overshoot the time. Okay, so
sorry, time.
Okay, so
for me, thank you very much again. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having APSA. Many congratulations again. This is a wonderful thing that we have done together, and I think this forum is a very good way forward, and I look forward for the second SME Fair. And of course, we do have a booth here, and you can also look into our website, www.apsa.my. So thank you, Dato. Thank you, Puan Saliza. Good evening to all.
Okay, so thank you very much to everyone here. So we are all nice men and nice lady, even though we look macho, we look sometimes we look elegant outside, but inside our heart we are very nice person, right? Okay, so bye bye everybody. Hope to see you again in the next so-called webinar. Bye bye. Thank you very much. Bye bye.